Don't say it, don't say it. It's cold, isn't it? That's how cold it is down here. Need to sort out the heating situation. I need a little heater, I reckon. That's why I'm in a coat. I apologise for being in a coat. It's not very professional, but otherwise I'll freeze to death. Hope all is well, and you're having a pleasant start to the new year. I most certainly am. Just about got rid of this virus. China! This virus. God knows what it is. It's been very persistent, a little bastard. But I'm about 95% there. 5% to go. You know, I keep in the morning just clearing the chest. Quite nice though in that phase in the illness when it comes off the chest. But I hope all is well. Back in the gym as well for me. Brilliant. There's a nostalgic feel to me being back in the gym. Instigated primarily for that logbook, I think. Some murmurs of 2020 cycles. I love it. So for me, 11 weeks bulking, 12-week cut for Mykonos. I know it's not ideal. As coaches, we shouldn't really recommend the whole 12-week bulk, 12-week cut cycle, but do something about it. I'm my own island. I do what I want. Looking forward to getting a little bit of strength back and a bit of size, and then cut down for my holidays. So today's video, inspired by a question that I received in the last video, which was, Tom, what are your 3 most influential, life-changing reads of 2024? Did a fair amount of reading last year. Did about maybe 9 or 10 books. The goal this year, 12 books. A book a month. Currently halfway through The Fury by Alex Michieldes, the same author as Silent Patient. Brilliant. Fantastic. Another real page-turner. But I'm going to say in no particular order, even though one of these books is by far my favourite, top shelf, Sopranos level, untouchable, in a league of its own. But we have... If you see me referencing this notebook, I had a little glance through the reads this weekend and just made some notes. But book number 1 by Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. All about visualization it is with this read. Whatever goal or vision we have in our mind, the brain and central nervous system will follow. It's fantastic. I've taken a lot of inspiration from this in terms of my own journey when it came down to my colitis. So visualizing and putting yourself in the mindset that whatever task or goal you have is going to be achieved because you almost convince yourself on a daily basis it's going to happen. For me, in my little journal, every single morning, my medication is working, I am healing. Referencing my colitis medication, right? My medication's working, I am healing. Then it might be my nutrition, my diet is working, I am healing. It's just a nice little psychological prompt to nudge each day. But a fantastic read. Ex-surgeon is Mr. Maxwell. Talks a lot about SMART goal setting as well. SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Let me see if I can remember it. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. I have got a brain. Well done, Tom. But yeah, very heavily emphasizes visualization and habits. What I quite like about these reads is they all kind of interlink with one another. A lot of referencing of James Clear's Atomic Habits as well. But yeah, Psycho-Cybernetics, fantastic read. I've got a few notes down here. Create a better, happier life by using visualization. There's a lot of referencing of salespeople that really struggle with group speaking, which I think a lot of people do. And this ex-surgeon takes them through the concept of Psycho-Cybernetics and helps a lot of them get through their flaws and their things, irrational fears that hold them back. But yeah, a lot to do with visualization, a lot to do with mindset. What else have I written here? Negative feedback can help people correct their course to their goal. So another big area in the book is monitoring and adjusting. So if we have a goal, like a 10-week fat loss goal as an example, holding ourselves accountable is key, as we've discussed before, but monitoring how you're getting on is key. Because if we go through the 10-week fat loss phase and in 3 weeks we've not seen any fat loss occur, then we need to monitor that. We need to make adjustments. And breaking down larger goals into smaller ones is also what's recommended. And we do that a lot with our clients as well. I put my clients on a 12-week fat loss or a 12-week gaining phase. Within those 12 weeks, we break those down into essentially 3 phases: weeks 1 through to 4, 4 through to 8, 8 through to 12. And we go through a lot of analysis when it comes to their training, their lifestyle, their nutrition, their habits, their sleep-wake cycles. And we kind of focus on individual areas within each of those 12 weeks. So yeah, big read, fantastic read, highly recommend. I recommend all these books. I'm just going to say I recommend every single one of them. But yeah, Psycho-Cybernetics. When I was reading this, I also listened to the Audible version. So there are a few books at the moment these ones that I maybe consider a little heavy, where I'll have Audible. So the Audible will be playing through my ears and I'll be reading as well, making notes. And I just feel that a lot of it goes in. And what's nice about this book in particular is after every single chapter, there is like a few questions and prompts. So after chapters been and gone, key points to remember, and you might write down, number one, we have the ability to dehypnotize our belief systems. We subconsciously set boundaries for ourselves, thus disabling further progression. It's brilliant. Get it on the list. Number one. I'm going to save the best till last. Book number 2, Ekhart Tolle. I'm sure you've heard of it. The Power of Now. Ooh, good read. I read this in quite possibly the most perfect settings and environment. First taste of mushrooms, psilocybin, whilst being in Ibiza. So you can imagine reading this sort of amplified the book. What have I got here? The only reality we have is the present moment we live in. There's a lot of emphasis on ignoring the past and ignoring the future. And there's nice cues for a lot of us to help us understand how to be aware and conscious. And that's making, during periods of the day, time to note certain things. And I do this every single day, and it mainly stems from being in the car, but Eckhart's recommendations of throughout the day just being present for even a few seconds. If you're in the car, in traffic, what do you smell? What can you see? What can you hear? And these little prompts cause you to be slightly more present. Referencing the pain body, which is stored negative energy from the past that can be triggered by current issues and events. So it's all about acknowledging our emotions as well, which is what I like about the Power of Now. So the next time you are angry, say you're in the car and there's traffic, ask yourself, why am I angry? What we shouldn't do is ignore and just sit on and feed into the pain body and kind of suppress all these emotions and this anger, and then eventually you'll erupt, right? It's about being very, very present. If you're cold or you're moaning or someone's whining, just know, okay, I am feeling annoyed. Why is that? I've had a really stressful day at work. Am I not getting with my partner? Am I hungry? It's about being very mindful and conscious of your current emotions and feelings. Another really nice area within the book is the no mind, where you have that complete state of consciousness and relaxation. And a lot of our good ideas come in the no mind. So it might be when you're sort of blissfully aware in the shower. A lot of my ideas when it comes down to content creation, film, ideas for Instagram, YouTube, come from a place of no mind. So I might just be in the car daydreaming and something will hit me, or in the shower I'm chilling, or in the bath, boom, I'm in that state of no mind, and that's where a lot of our ideas come from. So very heavily spiritual, some snippets of religion in there. It's a book that I think you'll read and then you'll want to read again and again and dip into and out of. It's heavy. It's a heavy read, and I think you need to be in a certain mindset, almost like a willingness and desire for you to want to change. I think don't read this it's not a sort of like, oh, really, whatever. It's like I need to take a good 30 minutes out of my day to calm down and give it a read. But yeah, Ekhart Tolle, he has a fantastic Instagram and YouTube as well. He's getting on a bit now, his old Tolle. Speaks very slowly, but then again feeds into the whole consciousness idea. So my recommendations: book a 2-month trip to Ibiza, take a load of shrooms and give it a read. Great book. Finally, my favourite read, Viktor Frankl, A Man's Search for Meaning. This is an absolute powerhouse, split into 2. So the first installment is his abhorrent time in the Nazi concentration camps, and then the second part is logotherapy. But I mean, my God, talk about using this for whenever you're feeling sorry for yourself. It's like a humbler. I reference it. If I don't want to get in the ice bath, or it's cold at the moment, it's -2 and I've got to go and do a 5K, I just think to the first part of this book, what he and they all had to endure. And then I think there is absolutely zero. I'm not pulling out. I can't. It's not fair. And who's the female as well? She might have written this. She was also a Holocaust survivor, but she spoke about when she had her back broken and she was laying there And she was like, the only nutrients that I could get that I knew would allow me to continue to trudge on was like grass. She's lying on this muddy, grassy field, back broken, and she's eating blades of grass. And I think, I've got no excuse. Get in the ice bath. So that I'm very grateful for. And then the second part goes into the psychotherapeutic method of Viktor Frankl's, which is logotherapy, which is being used around the world now. Psychotherapeutic method to identify man's meaning. So the three rules for the concept: completion of tasks, caring for others, and finding meaning in suffering, which is obviously what he did. And what I find quite interesting about this book is it almost goes against the power of now. I love the power of now, about being conscious and about being aware and not thinking about past or present. But one area of this book which helped him and many other individuals in the concentration camps was this ideology and perception of the future being good. So it almost goes against Eckhart's, like, we shouldn't be thinking about the future. These lot are thinking, my chances of survival are going to be greatly far higher if I envisage I'm going to come out of this concentration camp, my family going to be fit and well, and we're going to live a good life. So I like how there's a little bit of a disconnect between both books. But yeah, absolutely incredible read. What else have I got here? Envisaging your future as positive and choosing your own way as well. That's another point just before I wrap up. He had when he went into the concentration camp, there were two lines. There was one line and they filtered into two, and it was, I'm gonna have to try and remember this. The SS guards, they were judging the caliber of people when they came towards them, right? These weak, feeble people would often go to the left-hand side. Unfortunately, that left-hand side was either some like horrific type of labour or straight death. And he would notice that, and he held himself accountable, shoulders back, upright, looked the SS guard in the eyes, and he was like, right to the right-hand side. So choosing your own way and trying to create something out of the environment by taking note of what's going on around you. I think that's another point, alongside not feeling sorry for myself if I want to get into the ice bath, is also about the way in which I'm perceived by the way in which I hold myself as well, which is brilliant, man. Such a good read. Incredible read. Number one for me. If I had to put it in order, I'd go number one, Power Now, number two, number three, Psycho-Cybernetics. Fantastic. Hey, join me next week for my top 3 favourite fiction reads. I can't feel my hands right now. I can't feel my fingers. So I'm going to go and warm up and warm these guys up. Because right now, if I was to jump on the Xbox right now, ridiculous. Can't do it. But yeah, sorry if that was a little scatty. Like I said, I had to, give myself a nudge. I have to remember what's going on in these books, and I made some notes here. But yeah, fantastic, insightful, life-changing, inspiring reads. Psycho-Cybernetics, Man's Search for Meaning, and A Power Now. Highly, highly recommend. All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to love you and leave you now. Have a wonderful evening and week. I shall see you very soon. Thank you, good night, and much love.